Welcome to this video on using line breaks or wrap text in Microsoft Excel. So these are really useful top tips if you've got data like what I've got, where I've got a lot of information in one cell and it's not easy to read and it's actually stretching out across to the next cell, the next column. I can always make my cells bigger, but sometimes you might want it to just fit a little bit nicer if I want that column to be that same width. So there's two different options I want to show you in this video. First off, I'll show you wrap text. Now what this does is it looks at the column width and it just wraps all of the text within that. So it will take it down to the next row. So what I'm going to do is click on Alice Johnson's address. So this is cell B2. And then I'm in the home tab and I want to be in this alignment section here. And this is a button option. I'm just going to click on this ABC with the arrow and you can see it's wrap text and it's extra long text into multiple lines. So sometimes if I've got data in the next column, some of this will be hidden or it will cover up what's going on next or just look unsightly. So if I click wrap text, you can see it's made that column, that row bigger, and it's moved some of that information into the line below. Really easy. And obviously I can select multiple cells and do that at the same time. Now it may mean that the rest of the information needs to be aligned a bit better centrally, because if you have a look back in that ribbon, you can see it's aligned to the bottom. Now that's absolutely fine, but Alice Johnson, just a quick top tip here, I might want to align that in the center and it just looks better just going across. So you can play around with these alignment options once you've used that wrap text to pull it down. Now, if I add anything else in there, it will just automatically flow. So if I just add a little bit more into this address, it will just pull it nicely, and then it will continue to flow down in each lines as and when I need it. And if I want to take that off, I'm just going to click back on it and take off wrap text, and it'll just then extend back out further across the columns. It's a really nice, quick way that you can do that. There's also another option you can do, and it's called line breaks, and it's where we can create different lines within. So even if I add extra text, it still recognizes that there is a different line. So let me show you how this works and you can see whether this is going to work well for you. So I'm going to use the last address, and sometimes this works quite well for addresses because you want to see them in the right format that you would maybe on a label or an envelope. What I'm going to do after Flounders Way, just before Southwark, I am going to get my cursor ready and then I'm going to Alt and Enter. So when you do that, you can see that Southwark there has dropped down to the next line. And Flounders Way is still on the top one. So what I'm going to do is do the same again for London. So I'm going to put my cursor at the front, press Alt and Enter, and it's going to drop it down, and do finally for the postcode, Alt and Enter and drop it down. And then if I click away, you can see how that's then formatted really nicely. Now these are on separate lines, so there's a line break in between them, and that's what Alt and Enter will do for you. So if I add anything into this line, well, it's not West London, but if I just add any information into there, actually Greater London's probably more relevant. But even if it goes off, then it will stay in that line because there's a line break in between it. It's not going to change the line below. If I want to pull this out, if I want to make it look like it did before, it's not as easy as just clicking the button to change it, but I can go and just backspace and pull it all out. And keep just backspacing to pull that all the way out back to where it was. So you can use wrap text to just squeeze it all in within that column width, or you can use the line breaks, that's Alt and Enter, to create your own separate lines, which is really, really great for addresses and any sort of data like that. Just remember, when you've done any of those, you might want to manipulate the alignment of the rest of your cells. For example, just remember that if I wrap text on the top one, it's remembered that I have changed the alignment on that one. But if I do wrap text on the second address, then you can see David Davis is aligned at the bottom. And you may be okay with that, or you may just want to align that in the middle. And remember, it's all in that section up there. So do your wrap text or your line breaks first, and then double check the alignment for the rest of your cells to make sure your data looks nice and visual and easy to read. Don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel, and let me know what videos you'd like me to record next.